Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Entrepreneur Reality Show. With you today is Moremi Nelson, who is and who has been sharing with us, and in this particular series that we are looking at, who is an entrepreneur, what do they do? We're trying to demystify the whole issue of entrepreneurship. And an entrepreneur, I know we have talked about it in previous shows, and we have said that entrepreneur is an undertaker. He's one who is ready to serve and has an enterprise mindset. In everything that he lays his hands to do, there is profiting. Today I want us to really build up on the issue of an entrepreneur. We also looked at an intrapreneur, one who works within a corporate entity and has an entrepreneur mindset. And I want us to start demystifying these things, because the whole issue of demystifying something is making it to be normal, making it to stop being what do you say? What can we say? It's not being a giant in our face, and yet it is a ant or a molehill, and yet we think it is a whole mountain. So once we see this big word is a word that we can be able to relate with, then we will be able to jump in and handle it, or even accept the title that it comes with it. Today's show, I want us to repeat the whole issue about risk. People say to be an entrepreneur is risky, and we say, what's the risk? Every job, every assignment has a risk in it. Some people call it occupation hazards. If you are a painter and you climb up a ladder, the risk of falling is very high. Are you not going to paint because of the risk of falling? I believe the willingness and the vision and passion of painting overrides the whole thought of falling down and pouring the paint on yourself, or breaking a toe or two. Number two, a cleaner. A cleaner, by the time they are washing the floor and all that, what do they put? They put a sign next to them and they say, watch out, slippery floor. But they go still ahead and they clean the floor. So the risk of falling is not that big to stop them from cleaning the floor. That's why it's called occupation hazards. An accountant, by the time they are balancing the books and giving financial advice, they may make an error, miss a zero at the end of the calculation, and you go and try and read the budget and it is not coming in cohesion with what you are expecting, and you come back and you say, sorry, it was a typo, and then the budget of that year becomes short with a few billions. Well, that's a joke for another day. Let's pick another one. An engineer. If an engineer makes an error when they're calculating the strength of columns and beams and all that, it's so easy for that building to collapse. But he does not look at the error, but he looks at the benefit of doing his assignment to the best precision he knows how, in spite of the risks. And we have skyscrapers, we have bridges which are miles and miles long, simply because someone crossed over to the other side and handled that particular risk in a way that it became a profit. What am I saying in a nutshell? I'm saying that if you have undertaken your career, undertaken your gift, undertaken the abilities that you know how best to handle, and you're working with them with all your heart and with all your commitment, then you have an entrepreneurial spirit within you. So let's go a step further today and say that an entrepreneur is not a person. It's not a title. I know some of you already now are already wondering, what are we talking about? Yes, each one of us has the DNA of an entrepreneur. Within our blood, we have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And that is why when you go looking for that job, it's not just a matter of being employed. No, you're there so that you may have an environment from which you will be able to thrive in rendering your service. Okay, are we talking today? I want us to break all those strongholds which have been in our mindsets, so that the next time you walk into your office, you go there with a different mindset. You stop going there as a beggar, waiting for end of the month when you will be paid your dues. But every day of your month, you know that you're serving greater than any income that you're going to get at the end of the day. In fact, this is the only thing that will cause the directors and and the rest of leadership to look at you and say, man, we cannot lose this person from our organization. Let's partner with them. Let's give them shares. Let them be part and parcel of the whole organization itself. But for a long time, we've entered into our corporate settings in such a mindset that I'm a nobody here. From today, let's change that mindset. We've said that entrepreneur is one who develops, starts off his enterprise out in the marketplace, and an intrapreneur is one who works within a corporate organization and changes it for the better and making ripples. Let us look at one great intrapreneur. Today we want to really emphasize who an intrapreneur is, so that the corporate world, people who are working there, who also form quite a large sector of the enterprise people or the business people in the world today, they start embracing what they're doing. They stop going there with their heads bowed down and feeling inadequate, but you start raising up your shoulders and looking strong and feeling I'm in the right place for a season and for a timing appropriate. Let's look at one great man, the late Bob Collymore. He's such a legend in so many ways. And for today, let us look at him as an intrapreneur. He has set such an example that many people, nobody in the working world today can be able to turn a blind eye on him. He's a person who had a capacity of being a CEO in one of the leading telecoms, I'd say almost in the world. At least in Kenya, we know he was in the leading organization. But as a CEO there, he was able to turn around the culture of being a leader. We never hear of any time that the income of Safaricom had negatives. We only heard of positives. He came in and he skyrocketed the profits of that organization. It became the darling of the nation because it was helping to finance the budget. And I mean, it's interesting. A person who wasn't employed came in, and for most of those who got to know him would even be able to say that he's the owner of Safaricom. I mean, he outshined everybody who was ever before him. Yet he came in when we thought that an underdog has come into the setup. How will he make it? He's a black person, and this thing is only good for the white colored people and all that. But he made us proud, and we want to salute him this day and say, congratulations. When you look back at his history, we are told of how he worked in a bookstore or a library, filing, putting books in shelves and all that. And when you're told that kind of a thing and you look at the place that he was seated, and you're like, these two do not correlate. But I believe that background that he had, faithfully putting books in shelves and faithfully serving in other lesser capacities, gave him the promotion, gave him the opportunity of being selected as a key person in steering the destiny of Safaricom. Therefore, entrepreneurs, we have a legend. We have a person who has set the course for us, a person who has broken all the ranks and showed us that with our talents, with our gifts, and with our abilities, we can be able to shatter any glass ceiling. We can be able to rise up to heights that are unimaginable to people, and we are able to cause impact wherever we are at any one time. Therefore, today we address the entrepreneur and we tell him, don't limit yourself. Information is all around us. Let us use it to our advantage. And one more thing we know is, he who has information has power. Wield that power and cause it to help you rise to greater heights in your organization. Thank you.